of flamingos is flying into Madison this weekend.
That's right. There will be a sea of hot pink and blue tomorrow night in downtown Madison as Forward Madison FC kicks off their season with their home opener. WMTV's Mackenzie Davis joins us now live from the pitch this morning. And Mackenzie, scientists recently revealed that soccer is the best sport in the world.
I'll have to read up on that, Tim. I'm not sure, but I think that might be your opinion. But Forward Madison games are so much fun. I can tell you that. And I have the honor of bringing in the head coach this morning, Matt Glazer of Forward Madison. Matt, how excited are you for tomorrow night?
Yeah, we're super excited to get back in front of the home crowd. You know, we've been on a long road start to the season, 3 games away, undefeated so far, fortunately. But now coming back in front of the home crowd at Breese, we're super excited to get back home tomorrow.
And for people maybe who haven't been to Breese Stevens Field before for a game, what's the excitement like? What's the energy like here?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you're talking 5,000 people, loud, especially at the flock end down at the far end. So we like to score goals down there. But yeah, I think big energy, big crowd, loud, raucous, and that's what we like, and that's what we live for.
And undefeated so far. I mean, you guys are on a roll, but going to be exciting to be here back on your home turf here for the first time this season.
Yeah, like I said, it's a big home field advantage for us. The crowd's like our 12th player. The travel in the league's difficult, so when we come back home, we're always like really excited to be here. Nice weather expected, so yeah, we're absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, beautiful weekend ahead, and you guys have some experienced players returning, also some new guys starting too. So what's that like?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, obviously so far our goalkeeper, Burn Shipman's had a couple of shutouts. He's a returning player. Our captain, Mitch Osmond's leading the back line, returning player. And then I've added a couple of key additions. Devin Boyce has come in the midfield and scored a couple of goals for us. So we're really excited with the group that we brought.
Awesome, yeah. And how can you convince fans to come out maybe who haven't been out here before?
Yeah, I think if you want to see a fast-paced, exciting game where we're looking to get the ball forward and score goals and get the crowd excited, I think it will be a fantastic night to come out. Like I said, great weather, new team, full of energy. I think we're all really excited about this season and what's to come.
Definitely, Coach. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll keep that undefeated theme rolling here. Again, Richmond Kickers taking on Forward Madison here at Breese Stevens Field tomorrow, 6 p.m. You won't want to miss it, and I know, Tim Elliott, you won't be missing it either.
Oh, I definitely will not be missing it. He talked about the energy at the stadium from the fans and the flock end. Other players around the league have been quoted as saying, we love playing in Madison because of the fan involvement. Yeah, because they know we got the best fans here in town.
He said the crowd is like the 12th player.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait.